It started with a sea turtle. Several years ago, I had my first tour of the Sea Turtle Hospital at the South Carolina Aquarium. I became fascinated by the plight of this species and by marine life overall. My career goal is to be a marine science educator at the South Carolina Aquarium in Charleston, inspiring learners with my passion and motivating them to action in preserving our ocean environment. My name is Cassie Purcell, and I am excited to share my vision statement presentation with you. The aquarium hosts thousands of people each year, giving me the opportunity to work with many types of learners. Each person that comes through the door expects to encounter unique sights, entertaining experiences, and perhaps learn new information. I can also expect to engage with many different cultures. In their text, Multicultural Education in a Pluralistic Society, Golnick and Chin remind us that multicultural education provides an environment that values diversity and portrays it positively. Knowing that I must make an effective impression on all of these various learners seems a bit overwhelming. But the reality is, we have one huge commonality, planet Earth, and I can use this common ground as a basis for connecting with each and every learner I encounter. Another concern for me as a community educator is something called hidden curriculum. According to Course Lecture, hidden curriculum is all of the unrecognized and sometimes unintended knowledge, values, and beliefs that are part of the learning process. It is easy for teachers to draw on their own perspectives and experiences and deliver lessons through their own lens. Hidden curriculum is inevitable, and I will seek to deliver positive messages to my learners, reinforcing conservation, education, and research. I want to embrace a hidden curriculum that is known as edutainment. In the article, What is a Marine Science Educator? EnvironmentalScience.org defines edutainment as elements of public education wrapped up in entertainment. Powerful learning comes from enjoyable experiences, and I will use edutainment to promote learning while ensuring a delightful visit for each person. As a future marine science educator at the South Carolina Aquarium, it will be my responsibility to create an effective learning environment that may include creative classroom arrangements and materials. According to Anthony Bates' article, Teaching in a Digital Age, the learning environment includes physical locations, materials, and classroom culture. Learners must do the learning, so as instructors, we must create an environment that optimizes learning. From the moment students enter my learning environment, they should sense that collaboration and ocean conservation is the purpose of our time together. Jacqueline Zubriski advocates that educational spaces be more learning focused and less teacher focused. Classroomforteachers.org states that the types of materials in a classroom and a way in which they are organized convey important messages to students. Materials can be powerful tools to supplement teaching goals. As a future marine science educator, I want to create a learning culture through environment, space, place, and materials where the ocean is the main attraction and the students are the main focus. The achievement gap in America is real. In her Education Week article, Susan Ansel defines the achievement gap as the disparity in academic performance between groups of students. The achievement gap is created from learner differences. By the nature of my future learning environment at the aquarium, my time with learners will be brief, and my academic impact on the achievement gap will likely be minimal. However, I can work to bridge the personal side of the achievement gap by genuinely connecting with my learners, encouraging and inspiring them. As our country becomes more and more multicultural, perspectives and different cultures will forever be present. One course lecture reminds us that knowledge is rooted in culture. As a public educator at the aquarium, the idea of cultural bias will be very important for me. I must work to alleviate cultural biases from my marine science educational programs. The course lecture, Cultural as Disability, clarifies that cultural disability means that people are not able to meet the standards that our particular culture has set for achievement. Culture is not good or bad, or right or wrong. Culture is just different. I see cultural disability in three ways. Being an outsider looking into a culture that is foreign disables me from having access to that culture. If I am inside a particular culture and believe there are no individual differences inside my culture, I am also disabled. And if I look from my culture to the outside world and believe that other cultures have no value, I am disabled. Cultural is about connection, communication, and understanding. This course's Cultural Conflicts lecture states cultural conflict is a type of conflict that occurs when different cultural norms clash. In our learning system today, there often seems to be a mismatch of school and achievement expectations and many cultural norms. I aspire to approach education in a way that allows people from a multitude of cultures to succeed. Film, music, television, video games, social media. These are part of the fabric of our lives today. Pop culture in some form is a commonality for individuals, and as an educator, I should not dismiss pop culture by thinking has no place in a learning environment. Because of the transient learning environment at the aquarium, I have only a short opportunity to connect with my learners. It is imperative that I find common ground that will engage learners and help me segue into instructional material. Rituals are repetitive activities that individuals come to expect. Rituals say a lot about what a teacher and an educational organization values. Scholastic's article, The Value of Classroom Rituals and Routines, indicates that rituals can be as simple as greetings and arrival or departure activities for students. Positive rituals with meaning and consistency will help empower my students, give them structure, and help them to feel a sense of order and control. I am forever fascinated by the diversity of marine life. The ocean's watery melting pot is a clear reflection of our own society and the diversity within. Culture is who we are, and each individual has a different one. According to our course lecture, culturally responsive teaching acknowledges the legitimacy of student cultures and builds bridges between home, schools, academics, and social realities. As learners move in and out of my learning space, I will not have the luxury of home visits as a way to get to know my students. As a culturally responsive teacher, I will plan ahead to incorporate various cultural aspects into my marine science lessons. I will address different learning styles by incorporating activities that will acknowledge visual learners, auditory learners, tactile learners, and kinesthetic learners. I will recognize that each student has a unique background knowledge that they bring to the environment. I have learned that one important aspect of environmental education is connecting students to the environment globally and locally through their communities. Geneva Gay believes that culturally responsive teaching helps bind individuals to their society, to their communities, and to each other. Knowing this will help me build trust and meaningful relationships with my students. I want to be the very best environmental educator I can be. I want to inspire others with a passion for our wonderful planet and motivate them to act to preserve its beauty. By holding true to my future career vision statement, I will build bridges with my students, making learning appropriate, effective, and accessible to each of them.